Hi, guys, and welcome back. My name is Nicole, and this is Gracefully Authentic. And on my channel, I do a couple of different things, but today we are talking about our 9-week fitness challenge. So, first, let me start off by saying Happy New Year. We are walking into 2026, and this will be our second time doing this 9-week fitness journey. And so, we started last year. And when I started my 9-week fitness journey, I kind of modeled it after 75 moderate or medium, with some workouts and focusing on eating and things like that. But because I was more interested in starting something and being consistent with it, I didn't really take time to really pinpoint all of the aspects of the journey that I wanted to follow and capture and track. So this time I came with some notes, and we're going to do it again and definitely keep better track of what we're doing and what the results are of our actions. I actually just finished reading the 12-week year, yes. And so, which is interesting because they talk about in there as part of your like process control measuring what you're doing. And so not only do I do have the things that we're going to be working on written down, I've put next to it how many times per week we should be doing it. So that way we can come up with an overall score of how we did that week. So it'll be the total points available, with the total points achieved divided by the total points available will be our score for the week. And that'll help us see how we're actually performing and if we can make some improvements in our action steps to help us get better results in the end. So, from the first round of our 9-week challenge, I lost about 6 pounds. And because, like I mentioned, I hadn't really been tracking and doing all of that kind of stuff, I didn't have a direct starting measurement that I could leverage and then a direct ending measurement. And so it was something I kind of started on my own just for me. I was calling it 63 for me because 9 weeks is 63 days. So 63 for me. And then I was already coming into, I think, like week 5 when I decided to document and then start sharing these videos so that I could have some kind of like built-in accountability. And for anyone else out there wanting to get started, help with some encouragement of getting started, and then we could go along the journey together. So that's kind of what this series is about. And so this is our second round. We broke the first round right around, I think it was like the week before Christmas. And then we rested and relaxed, recovered, did some planning, and now we are hitting it back again. So day 1 will be tomorrow, which is January 5th, Monday, January 5th. And so that will be when we actually get started. Hopefully, I'll get this video posted tonight so that if you're seeing it, it'll be real time. But if not, whatever day you see this, make sure you can get started right away. If it's not the day they're seeing this, plan for maybe the next Monday, next Sunday, depending on how your schedule goes, whatever day works best for you. I like to start on Mondays and then use the weekends to kind of plan out my course of action for the week. So with that being said, let's get started with what we're going to be covering in our 9-week fitness plan. First, I have meal track. And meal tracking is going to be on a daily basis, just writing down what you ate for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, etc. And I hate meal tracking, y'all. I hate meal tracking because I'll tell you why. I am the type of person where it's it's not all or nothing essentially, but it's got to be like very meticulous or very kind of like ad hoc, abstract, not at all. So it's like it's got to be like symmetrical to the line, measured out, or it's just got to be whatever. Because anything in the middle gets me kind of like in my anxiety mode of like, okay, well, why wasn't it just completely abstract? Or why wasn't it done with like symmetry and precision? And so that's why I don't like meal tracking, because it's very hard to get good precision in meal tracking because you have to be meticulous with every ingredient that you're adding. What are the nutrients for that, add it up in the quantities that you put it in, divide it by what the servings are. So it can be done, but it's a little bit more challenging to do it. So I put meal plan at first because then that's just me like, okay, what am I going to eat for breakfast this week, for lunch, for dinner, etc. But you can meal plan and meal prep and not eat according to your plan, or your plan just not be in accordance with the goals that you're trying to achieve. And so I felt like even if I was 100% successful in meal planning and or meal prepping, there was still opportunities for me to not be successful in the food that I actually consumed. And then those would have the more greater impact on the results that I'm trying to achieve. So even though I don't like doing it, I am going to put meal track. Now, it will count. I'm going to check it as yes, completed, whether I do the kind of abstract version or the meticulous version. What does that mean? Okay, if I have chicken, rice, broccoli, and I write chicken, rice, broccoli, that counts. I track the meal. If I write 100 grams of rice, 2 cups of broccoli, and 6 ounces of chicken, that also counts. And what I will do is I will give myself grace to go from here to here over the course of time. The other thing is, if I do include the meal planning and prepping into it, that is a little bit easier because then I would only have to calculate those nutrients for something once, and then I could just repeat that throughout the course of the week. As an example, I typically make egg bakes for breakfast, and I usually will use maybe like 12 eggs and, half a cup of cheese and maybe some sausage. Hi. One second. Sorry about that. I'm back. And so, kind of lost my train of thought. Sorry. We were talking about meal prepping, meal planning. Oh, right. I was talking about the egg bake. Okay. So when I do that, I will have a set number of ingredients in a set amount. I can calculate that and then divide it up over the servings. And so then anytime I eat that egg bake for the course of the week, I already know what those nutrients are. And typically, when I'm adding up my nutrients, I don't do everything. I don't do the calcium, the magnesium, and all of that stuff. I typically just do fat, carbs, and protein. But also, I think I will start tracking fiber as well, just because, as I am a woman getting older in age, I should be having a higher intake in fiber. And right now, I can't even tell you where I'm at with my fiber. So I will probably start tracking that as well, just to see kind of where I am now, and then what additional things I need to add to get to a number that I should be performing at. That being said, I think that the tracking will help because I really don't have an idea of about how many calories I'm consuming each day either. So you can feel like you're doing pretty well, like, oh, I just had, a handful of almonds and I had grilled chicken and I had a salad, but maybe instead of 2 tablespoons of salad dressing, you put a quarter cup of salad dressing, or, instead of this handful of almonds, which, should be maybe this big, it was this big, And so I want to get to a point where I'm tracking just so I also have my steady state, like kind of how much calories I'm currently consuming on a regular basis. So then when I'm calculating my calorie deficit, I know that I'm actually eating less than what I was consuming before, and then also less than what I should be consuming for weight maintenance. And I think not this time, but maybe next time we'll talk about calculating your TDEE, which don't ask me what it stands for right now, but I'll have that for you next time. And then that'll help you calculate what your current calorie intake should be for weight maintenance, and then how to calculate what your calorie deficit should be for weight loss. So we can do that next time because I don't have that prepared this time. But essentially, that's the first one, meal tracking. The second one is drinking a half gallon of water. It should probably be a gallon of water, but that is a lot of water. And I am in the space where I want to set some realistic, achievable goals and then improve upon them, right? So your best can get better, right? And so what does that mean? Say right now you can only do 3 push ups. You keep doing 3 push ups eventually you'll be able to do 5. So your best was 3, but your best got better, and now you can do 5. So now your best is 5. You keep doing 5, then you can do 10. So your best can get better. And so I don't want to start at the top, don't achieve it, get discouraged for not achieving it, and then quit. Right. So I want to say, like, okay, maybe I can do 3 push ups. My goal should be 5 because I need to be pushing myself. And then when I get to there, I need to increase the goal. So right now, the half gallon of water is, um, what's that, like 4 bottles of water, like, little 16-ounce plastic bottles. I don't currently drink 4 bottles of water every day. And so I know that that's a number that I can get to. And then once I get to that consistently, I can improve it. The other thing I have on here is drink some chlorophyll water. And so when I was on vacation and went to a resort, they had chlorophyll water in their spa and in their exercise room. And so I started looking into that a little bit and purchased some chlorophyll tablets that I can open up and add to the water. So it's supposed to help with detox. It'll help with, I think it says like body odor and skin clearing up and weight loss, belly fat, that type of thing. And so I said, hey, why not? I need to drink water anyway. Let's give it a try. So I will be drinking 1 chlorophyll water every day. And essentially, I make that with, I make it a 12-ounce drink, chlorophyll water with lemon juice. And I drink that. The other thing will be taking my vitamins daily. And right now, I just take a vitamin D supplement and a vitamin B12 supplement to help with my energy and fatigue levels. So I will continue to do that or be more consistent in doing that. So I was really tired. I think that was yesterday, and I didn't take them today. I was really tired yesterday. Whenever I feel like really tired, like I've slept well, I had a good night's sleep, but I still feel tired and drained, I realized I haven't been taking my vitamin D in a while. So I need to be taking those kind of on a consistent basis. The other thing I have on here is I plan on walking 10,000 steps per day. And that's just a good way to make sure that you can get in some extra steps. And it's like a intentionally working towards moving more. So because I have a desk job, I can sit at a desk all day long. But if I'm working on 10,000 steps, I'm going to have to eventually get up and be more mindful of taking long walks. So as an example, in my office building, if the bathroom is here, and I sit here, I could walk to the bathroom this way. But the building is set up as a rectangle. So my plan is to walk around the rectangle to the bathroom and then back around to my desk just to get some extra steps in. Now, I won't be able to do it all the time. Sometimes I'm like going from meeting to meeting and I just like quick boom, bathroom break in between meetings. But for the most part, when I can just take the longer route, go to the restroom, take the longer route, come back to my seat. Also, I can go for a walk outside. So usually I can take like a 15-minute walk. I usually have a little lap that I do if I'm going for a walk, and that takes me about 20 minutes. So sometimes I'll do that like after lunch, take a lunch, go for a walk during my lunch break. And that is just about a mile, a little bit over a mile. And so that will get me a bunch of steps as well. And so that's just weather dependent. And then also, we do have the workout area at my workplace. So I could go in there, pop in there, and just walk on the treadmill for a few minutes as well. So 10,000 steps shouldn't be terrible. I also own a treadmill. I've owned this treadmill forever. It was in my garage. It was like back into a corner. There was stuff blocking it. So while I have been on this break, I did have my husband pull that out and bring it up. And so it's actually in this room in the corner over here. And so I can do some walking on the treadmill at home as well. I do want to continue with my swimming. So the next item is swim once per week. That's going to be one of my like active recovery days. And then I have workout 5 times per week. And so typically I do 2 to 3 times at the work gym. My goal is to do 3 times at the work gym. And then I was also doing the Couch to 5K program. I haven't run or I usually do intervals to Couch to 5K since I was on vacation. So luckily I did make it to the resort gym only once. The plan was to go 4 times, but I made it once. So I'm glad that I made it at least once and I did that run. And so that was probably like 2 weeks ago. So I'm behind on running, But it's going to be it's a new 9 week session. We are starting from scratch. We're going to score ourselves based off of what we got going on. Okay, two more. I'm going to read 9 pages a day. I had it at 10 pages a day, but I felt like that was too high. I really wanted to bump it down to 5 pages a day, but it's a 9 week challenge. I'm really rolling with the 9 in this theme. So I decided just to put 9 pages a day. And these, I already listened to like audiobooks, like in my car ride to and from work. And so these 9 pages a day are going to be, I guess, more of like the educational books. I have a couple of like nutrition related books that I'm working to get through. Like I said, I just finished the 12-hour work week. I finished Essentialism, and I finished the 5 a.m. club within the last month. And so I do have some other books on my list: The Gifts of Imperfection. I want to revisit Atomic Habits. I want to do the Let Them theory. So I have some other books on there. So those are going to be more of my like personal development educational books. And those will be the ones that I do the 9 pages per day. And then also the last one is just going to be a weekly photo and or weigh-in. So I think I'm not certain how often I want to get on the scale, but I do want to do the pictures so we can see how it's progressing over the course of the 9 weeks. And so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things that we'll be working on. See, I'm really leaning into that. And then once I put the numbers down, it ends up being 63 total points. So it's leaning into that too, right? 9 times the 7, 63. Okay, so 63 days for me. I have 9 tasks that I will be focusing on. And then once I add them up, so meal track, that's 7 days for the week. Drink the water, both the half gallon and the chlorophyll, and take the vitamins. All of those are 7 days a week. The walking 10K is 7 days a week. The reading is 7 days a week. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 7, which is 56. And then swim once a week, 57. Work out 5 times a week, which is 62. And then the weekly photo or weigh-in is once a week. So that's 63. So that's our 63 points. So 100% score for the week would be 63. And then based off of how often we do these, I'll take that total number divided by 63, and that will be my score for the week. Now, based off of 12-week work year, 12, I feel like I'm saying it wrong. I'm pretty sure it's 12-week work year. 12-week work year. 85% is really all you need to achieve to see some like dramatic gains in your results. So 85% would be the goal here. But one thing they did mention is like, even if you can't hit 85, don't quit. And that's really where the consistency piece comes in for me. Don't quit, because even if you have a week that's 70%, 60%, that's more than you were doing before. And it's more than you'll be doing if you quit and you're at 0%. So, with that being said, we have our game plan for the next 9 weeks. Our goal is 85% completion rate for our different tasks. And then we will check in every week, see how we're doing, see what adjustments need to be made to the week. There may be some weeks where I'm traveling or something like that, so I won't be able to swim. So, how do we adjust for that, right? It's going to be one thing that I learned about consistency is it has to be flexible, because if it's too rigid, you can't achieve it. So with that being said, I look forward to these next 9 weeks with you guys. Join me on the journey. You can use hashtag 63 for me so I can see what you're eating, what your before pictures look like, what your weekly check-in pictures look like. Post what your scores are for the week. If you're doing something different, as in a different task than the 9 that I've listed here, let me know what your different task is, how many times per week. Let me know what your new max score should be. And so we can do this thing together. And I will see you next week. My goal for this 9 rounds, this round of 9 weeks, is actually 15 pounds. And so we will see how it goes, and I will keep you posted. So have a great night, and I will see you next week.